I mentioned to you guys before that I kind of been looking to work with Profoto for a little while now, and last Friday finally got to do a campaign with them on their new cinema light, their L600C, which is this beastie here. And this is the latest light from Profoto. It's kind of obviously been announced and that sort of stuff. It's not available just yet, but it will be like imminently, right, before the end of the year. And some months ago, they asked me to put a proposal forward to work with them in kind of demonstrating what this new light can actually do, right? This is a brand new 600 LED full color light, and let's be honest, Profoto is kind of a little bit late to the LED market, easily by 1 or 2 years. So them coming in a little bit later is interesting to see where they're going to land with it, right? And this thing is an absolute powerhouse. This thing is nuts. Now, I will say that last year they did bring out the 1600, this monster here, right? So this is just a daylight head. The thing is an absolute beast, right? It's just daylight, and yeah, just 90% fans. But yeah, that's what they came out with late last year, I think, maybe even a little bit longer ago. And then more recently, they're bringing out these panels, which I had a look at the other day as well. So this is a big full color panel as well, right? 3x2 panel. Let's bring up that. And then what's kind of more interesting for us kind of still shooters is these are the L600C and the L600D. So C being color and the D being daylight, right? So interesting unit. Very, very, very interesting light. And just to give you a little bit of background here, like I said, let me just go pull up my thing we got here. So, like I said, they got in touch and was like, Jake, can you put together a proposal? This was like months ago. This was literally months ago. Some ideas for this light. This is the kind of the specs. I went down and had a look at the light. I couldn't, I didn't shoot with it, but it was like a private viewing of the light. Went down, was kind of shown the specs and what was possible with it, and then I kind of went away and put together a proposal to kind of send to them that that I thought showed off some of the qualities of the light, right? Let me just bring that up there. So yeah, like I said, so this was just a very rough proposal. I grabbed some shots when I was there looking at it. Oh, there you go, look, July, yeah. And really what I'm trying to do when I'm doing this for something like this, proposal for this, is really trying to pull out what's kind of unique about a product. And this doesn't need to be a light. This can be, any product that you're kind of working with or brand that you're working with. You kind of need to understand what's the USP or unique selling point for these, for the product. And then you've got to work out how you can kind of show that off, right? So this is kind of what I would typically do, break down everything that it does, and then kind of pull out elements that is going to be what I think is very important about this unit. And for me, one of the most important aspects was this triple white chip that I mentioned earlier on, which means that you have a chip at like a very warm chip at 1700 Kelvin, one at 4000 Kelvin, right, and then one at 9,000 Kelvin. So in here, which means that across the Kelvin range, you have a very even exposure, right? It's not like one white chip is what it used to be years ago, and then everybody else uses 2 white chips. What can happen is that, sure, where the 2 chips overlap here in the middle is usually where the light's brightest, around about 5600 Kelvin, right? And then if you want to be using the light at, sometimes it's only 6,500 Kelvin. I think my Jun light only goes up to 6,500 Kelvin, which is not very cold at all. And then it goes down to like 3,000 Kelvin, right? So usually at the extreme ends, it's not as bright. because they're using the two white chips separately, whereas in the middle, typically around 5600, that's when it's the brightest. So what this is doing is it's kind of eliminating that variance. It's going to be pretty much the same exposure throughout. But it also means that you're not fudging the numbers with some of these colors as well. So we saw before in the Aperture article early on where I was going, ironically, the Aperture is desperately trying to make tungsten, right? It's trying to make these tungsten lights again, looking at the waveform and looking at how to make this clean tungsten waveform. And that's what a lot of people are doing. Whereas this here, the L600 head here with this very rich, warm chip at 1700 Kelvin is gorgeous. It was no variance at all in the color that I could tell. Other brands will kind of fudge the numbers. I reviewed the Godox, Coke can lights not too long ago, and they quoted a 2000 Kelvin, but what they're doing is it's not using the Kelvin chip to do that. It's using the red and green chips combined to make orange. You guys will know that from previous streams. Those of you that have been paying attention to additive color theory will know that the red and green making the yellowy orange color, and that's how they're doing it. But there is green fringing in some of those Kelvin ranges, especially if you're using hard lights that would create that kind of chromatic aberration between gobos and that sort of thing. You start to see that fringing, whereas this doesn't happen with this head. So this to me was something that I really wanted to kind of show off, was this triple white chip. I think is very, very cool. As a result, they have 99 TLCI, right, which is the highest I think ever. 97 is very high, but yeah, 99 is the highest I've seen. The other thing about this light is that it can flash. So this is something that we've kind of mentioned before. I will go into a little bit more detail, but when you switch to flash mode in this light, it actually goes down to, it switches to stops, not percent, which is kind of cool. So those of you who use LEDs, it's 1% to 100%. As soon as you switch to flash mode, it actually goes into stops like we used to. So if you can go up from 2 to 3 is one stop of light, which is very, very cool. Liquid cooled, no ballast, so again, it's just a single monoblock. Liquid cooled means that the fan, these were on all day, and sometimes at 80% and above, and I never heard the fan come on once. So Richard in chat mentioned earlier on about when you don't have the ballast or the block external to it, then putting all that inside the head itself can mean that it gets noisy. I will say this did not happen, not once when I was using it. So pretty impressive, the liquid cooling in it. Just a few more bits of nerdy elements that I didn't think was kind of important to bring out. Color space, I will go into this in more detail once I have the unit myself, but you actually have this gamut menu in these lights, which is wild, super nerdy, but yeah, being able to assign a gamut to an LED head is nuts. Yeah, absolutely nuts. We're just talking about the power and the Profoto app and that sort of things. So LEDs that flash. So this is something that's kind of new to the industry. Those of you who've kind of been following me for a while know that Rotalight was kind of one of the OG companies that kind of brought out LEDs that could flash, and not too many other people copied them. It's super useful if you need to capture something crisply, right? It's all very well shooting LEDs and you're shooting at 125th of a second. It's okay, but if you can get the LED to flash as well, you can get an even faster kind of snap of time. Even Alan mentioned in chat there a minute ago about the lights being bright. So on the day of the shoot on Friday, what we were doing was we actually shot with the lights were super close to the model, and to Alan's point there, we switched it to flash mode so that it wasn't super bright on the model's eyes as well. This is useful as well. We used to do this with flash back in the day, where in a very dimly lit room the pupils open up, right, which aesthetically speaking is typically more attractive, more appealing to have these wide open pupils. So sometimes people would shoot in very low light and then flash so that the pupils are nice and wide as they're trying to let in tons of light that isn't there, and the flash would capture those beautifully wide pupils. It's something that you don't see too much of now, but it is something that we used to do back in the day with flash. But this is the only LED light in the world that can flash in full RGB, right? That's a cob light. So what I mean by that is you've got hundreds of Profoto modifiers that you can use on this RGB LED that can flash, and it's the only one in the world. Like, I haven't seen anything even remotely close to it. I know like the rotor lights can do it, but they're panels. This is the only kind of cob light that does it. So I think, you know, me kind of using a setup to kind of show that off was going to be super important as well, right? And this rest of the proposal just goes into the panel and that sort of thing, just talking about other aspects that we didn't end up covering with the panel. It just did the L600. So we're just kind of showing you that because it just gives an overview of how I'm going to be approaching a shoot like this and giving an idea, and then obviously the final setups that we were kind of going for, to setups that I'm kind of giving them as ideas to use and to show off the Kelvin range of the light here, which was a setup, and I'll show you some BTS in a second. It's absolutely gorgeous colors on this, absolutely outstanding. But again, this is something this was a setup that I could utilize extremes of the Kelvin range, which I think was like 2,000 to 15,000 or something insane like that. So I was able to use both of those extreme Kelvin ranges in the same shot with this one, which is very, very cool. Next one was showing off the flash capabilities of the L600, right? So using the flash on these to kind of capture the subject being frozen, but also using a kind of a long exposure technique where I'm using the continuous mode of the L600 behind and then the flash L600 in the foreground to kind of capture it. This is a technique that I absolutely love and have used many times over the years, and I thought it was a perfect example to combine both ambient and flash in the same shot and kind of show off what the actual light could do. And then lastly, this one again, like it's a full RGB light. You know, we've got tons of colors. Like, what can we do to kind of show off the huge color range of this light and some of the beautiful colors that we can get for it? And this was kind of a good example in my mind, a good setup to kind of show that off. So that was the proposal. That was the setups that I sent as ideas. A couple of months go by. I honestly don't know if other people were presenting proposals as well who had to be signed off. But a couple of months later, it gets signed off, and then we are into full swing with actually getting the shoot done. Which, like I said, was finally done last Friday. Yeah. Let's have a look. Just checking on questions here. See, we're talking about. Blad's talking about the bars. Only had 3x4, 60 minutes. Also, it does have the bars. Yeah, the old Nikon only had 3x2. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Richard says, can you fire Rotolight with a Profoto flash? So you should be able to. You can fire Rotolight with a Profoto flash. So you should be able to mix. If you're talking about the triggers, yes, yeah. The new ARS 2 Pros, you can damn near use any trigger that you want on it. In fact, I've used triggers that it says that you can't use, and it still fires it. So yes, you can certainly use the Profoto trigger alongside the Rotolights. Yeah. And Brogan says, I'm an old Hensel flash guy myself. Give me 10 strobes, Snoot, Strip Banks Lantern. It's party to me. But yeah, I mean, look, it's if you need that ridiculous power at huge ranges, then yeah, to really capture something like that, then yeah, flash is gonna give that to you. Kind of reminds me of the Palo Versi Craig. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very kind, but yeah, those guys are masters. Yeah, they're beautiful work. Is there a power boost in the flash and it's a Rotolight? Richard, these are great questions, and it's great that you're asking these, and this is something that I want to find out. I was using these lights. I'd never used these lights before, so I turned up on Friday to do the shoot. Typically, I would as I'm sure you can understand, typically I would like to have at least played with the light before I'm literally thrown not only out into the studio to actually shoot with it, but I'm also being filmed as well. So they had a film crew there that they were filming me going through, talking through the lights and like the setups as well. So I would absolutely love to spend more time with this, because that is a great question. What Rich is asking there is that typically with the rotor lights, for example, you can set it to flash mode and it'll basically overclock the LEDs for a split second to give you like an extra stop of power. So I do not know whether these can do that or not. Yeah. And because this flash just wraps around a subject differently to me than LED, I can't always get what I want from LED unless it's like a Kino Flow LED. Look, I'm broken. I shot strobes for over 20 years. Trust me, I was very, very skeptical. And I was in a room at the time being poo-pooing LEDs aggressively, right? So I've certainly been where you are. I'm not saying that LEDs are going to be right for you, but I will say that I was in the room poo-pooing LEDs fairly aggressively at the time, and there was a rotor light representative there, and I was giving him a tough time, and I started to use them. I was there already. It was like, fine. I was immediately blown away by what they could do in terms of the quality of light, especially the panels like the rotor lights can do as well. So I wouldn't write them off. They're either going to be for you or they're not. But trust me, I was certainly very, very, very skeptical to begin with. Yeah. I used to use some wild things with a bare bulb flash and bouncing it. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a huge amount that you can do with flash. You can modify it, of course you can. For me personally, the kind of the positives of LED outweigh the negatives. Really, the negatives is power, right? And like if I was outside shooting, sports or something like that on the side of a pitch, and then I'm trying to flash somebody a long way away outside in daylight, I'm not going to be using LED. I'm just not. But all the colors, the flexibility of those colors, the Kelvin range that I can dial in, and yes, you can go, well, you can use CTOs and CTBs on flash, and you can do that. You absolutely can. But for me, tweaking colors is something that is absolute bliss to me, right? Even at a peak of my colored gel work years ago, I still had like 24, maybe 30 different colored gels, whereas this is millions of colors that you can just tweak. And if I'm using four colors side by side in a shot, and I'm trying to get harmonies in colors, I love the control that these RGB LEDs give me. But it's not gonna be for everybody. Yeah. So fast forward to the shoot on Friday then. Let's have a look at what we got up to. Let's see. Let's have a look what we got here. Let's see. So we got into the studio. Let's see. Let me find the one that was. Yeah, let me find this one. So this is the studio. This is up in London. This was Shutter House Studio. This is that was the 1600, right? You can see that big boy there, right? So beautiful studio space. So that was a 1600. So we didn't actually use the 1600 for any of the shoots that I was doing. They used the 1600s to light me when we were shooting video, but I didn't use so I was using these here. So as you can see, the 600 there. Okay. Here you go. Just give you some idea of scale here. So that's does anybody shoot Profoto flash at the moment? Does anybody shoot with the B20, or either the new ones or the older ones? Yeah, the B20s and B30s. Yeah. So that's the 1600 versus the B20 there. You can see the size of it. So the B20 is very small, really, for what it is. Great little flash, but yeah, you can see the size of it there next to the 1600. That thing is just a monster. Yeah. What else do we got up to? We got some of the ones here. That one. Oh, it's just gel packs, right? Which I've found kind of ironic. One of the things that Profoto wanted to do was kind of show that you could use the LEDs with the flash, right? So in one of these setups, I've actually had the B20 on the, I think the like the color wash. I actually had the B20 on the background behind the model with one of the gels on it, right? So an orange gel on it. So it was actually combining both, like the older flash with the newer LED, which I'm sure I don't need to explain that to you guys, but it's very, very, very easy to do, right? Just combining both of them, yeah. What else do we have? What's the last set? So this one here. So this is the one where I was using the Kelvin range. So remember, I'm just shooting this on iPhone, so the iPhone doesn't know what to do with this 2000 Kelvin back here, yeah. And it's kind of neutralized her face here. But the shots that I was able to get is just beautiful with it. It's just absolutely, just such a rich orange color from it. It's kind of difficult to explain, but yeah, the shots look absolutely beautiful. So we've got the, what is it, 15,000 Kelvin on the foreground here, and then we have the 2000 Kelvin on the background behind. And this is the time where, to Alan's point earlier on, we switched it to flash mode. So this is in flash mode now. So it's not just super bright in her face, right? This is switching to flash mode. So there's just little pops of light, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've had a quick glance at some of these. I've already started to retouch the first set of images, and they are looking good. They're looking really good. What's this one? This was the color one. So you see it back there? So that's the B20 with a gel on it, back there. So I'm mixing the L600s with the B20 with a gel. Old school. Yeah. And it's like the colors were clean, man. Very, very clean. Extremely clean. Yeah. And this is in Lightroom, remember? Like these raws were just gorgeous. Even on the D850, guys. Like, imagine if we'd taken this on a proper camera. Can you imagine how good it would have looked? Yeah, these. I was very impressed with the. Yeah, it looked absolutely nuts. So smooth. And again, having the ability to kind of dial these in and tweak them was, to get these harmonies was great. Yeah, very, very cool. What else? I think we did one. We really pushed for time. Because bear in mind, not only do we do 4 setups on the day, that I do 4 shoots on the day with these lights I'd never used before, but also filming, right? So they're filming me talking about it, and we got to do walkthroughs of all the setups and explaining what everything's doing and that sort of stuff. So we got a huge amount done in that day. So 4 setups, and then the last setup here, which again, just using this kind of ambient set here, right? So again, iPhone's kind of ruined it, but we got tungsten lights up here, and then I'm just adding this big fill light here, right, which is matching the kind of Kelvin of the tungsten on the walls behind her. We got a beauty dish on the L600 here, and we got a hard light here as well. Yeah. So pretty rushed on this last set. Not over the moon about it, but we managed to we were running short on time, and again managed to pull that off as well. So that was good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in there. We got to look at that one. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then this one here, which was I don't know why that's not in there. I don't know why that video is not there. But basically, this is so we got our 6x6 scrim back there, and we got our beauty dish here with on the flash, and then we're doing the kind of the long exposure effect there. Yeah, I don't know where that video is, but yeah, I'll see if I can find it. What's this one? Oh yeah, it's just a shot of that. Yeah, I thought I brought all the videos across. It's stupid of me. Unless it's still in the downloads folder. I don't think so. No videos there. I'll have to get it another time, but you get the idea. We got a lot done, but yeah, very, very cool. Molds, all the models were great on the day. Stylus was cool. Makeup was phenomenal. Yeah, gorgeous makeup that we had. So yeah, the shots aren't ready, but I will just show you just a quick sneak out what I've started to work on, because like they are looking good. They are looking good. So I mean that's the raw, and then yeah, these are the ones that I've been working on. There's a bunch here. I won't go through all of them. But yeah, beautiful colors. Yeah, yeah, everybody did a great job. And again, like, you know, these are still in Photoshop. But yeah, like the colors, I was very, very impressed with. I cannot wait to get this myself and really kind of see what it can do, because questions that you guys have had, I have the same questions as well, and I'm kind of curious as to what we can, what this thing can do, especially as soon as you can modify this flash now. Is nuts. Yeah, it's crazy. So very exciting. Yeah, like I said, Profoto have come in late to this. They've come in late, but they are coming in strong. I will give them that. Yeah. Is there a lantern accessory highlight grid with honeycombers with it? Well, this is a Profoto attachment, so you can. I don't know, what was it called? OCF? Is it called on Profoto? What is it? Share the light? What is it called? Stills? Shop? Yeah. So like it takes any of their modifiers. Yeah. Yeah. So shop by product, yeah. So they got, I don't know, 150 modifiers or something like that. So the Fresnels or umbrellas, like all the Profoto modifiers that they have will work on it. So yeah, like the whatever they have, I'm sure they have a lantern or something like that. Like they certainly have tons of honeycombs and that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like your subjects get more tired when using LED strobes, see difference in their mood? I don't know. I mean, look, with the greatest respect, if you're dealing with professionals, you're not going to notice it, right? Models would be under tungsten lights in the past, which were extremely bright and extremely hot, and it would be fine. I certainly, I'm not seeing any of the professionals that I'm working with complaining that these lights are slightly brighter than a flash going off. Personally, yeah. Hey Wayne, how you doing, mate? I have some little LED portable tubes I enjoy. Forget the name though. Tubes. Yeah, I mean, like the tubes are great, right? I mean, tubes are really, really good. I've used a bunch of tubes in the past, and I love the light that they give. It's just not modifiable, which I think is what makes this kind of exciting, for one, like with the flash and the LED being modifiable on the Profoto fit is very, very cool. Yeah. You do have like a bunch of gels. Well, there is that as well. Yeah, there is that as well. I was just glad I had the gels in the bag to play with the flash. I tell you what was funny though, Unbroken, was you have all this kit and then I didn't have any tape. Right, normally I carry tape and stuff to tape the gels on. So it's like, shit, I've got to go around and hunt for some tape to put the gels on. It did make me chuckle, because it was a normal problem years ago, like finding the tape and it unsticking and all that sort of crap, and the gels warping and all that sort of stuff, and like I haven't had to deal with that like for years. So I did find it funny. Yeah, it's just a simple thing like trying to attach the gels is it used to be an issue. Yeah. Did you get to take the lights home and play with it further? So these were good question, Steve. These were the pre-production models. So there was a couple of things in there that maybe that I would need to check, right? So these are the pre-production models. I am going to be getting one. Hopefully, fingers crossed, to get one by the end of the year. I think even when you go to buy one, that they're not available yet. Like they've been announced and that sort of thing, but they're still being manufactured or whatever. So I mean, they're going to be available imminently. Hence why I need to get these images out. But yes, I am going to be getting one by the end of the year. So look, I will certainly be testing it and seeing what it can and can't do, and finding out what it's useful for, what its limitations are, and what its benefits are. There's tons that we just didn't get to play with. Like it's super nerdy, but the color gamut profile in the light itself is wild to me. Like being able to assign color gamuts to the RGBs in the light itself is nuts. Is like, that's, I mean, it seems so obvious to me. Like, why the hell is that? I've never seen that before. Like, why is that not a standard feature? If you're shooting in a certain profile, the light will only give you colors within that profile, which is, it's like super niche, super nerdy, but still things like that I just haven't had a chance to even play with at all. So there's a ton that I want to play with. And I used to use everything Profoto, Dynalight, Alien B. Profoto was so heavy. You going back to the OG packs and stuff? Yeah, the packs were monstrous. Yeah, a little bit of a ring light effect going on there. Sarah Moon colors. Not sure which one you're referring to there. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a ring light effect, personally, in my opinion, from my experience of ring lights. Yeah. Look, I was certainly paid well to do this campaign, and so take from that what you will, but they're certainly not paying me to say nice things. You scrim the backlight. If you're referring to the long exposure one, then yes, that's a 6x6 scrim panel. Yeah. Trevor says I bought a set of nanlite pavo tubes, 30C2s, only ever used them once because I couldn't get the saturation right. I really want to use them more. Look, I think, the pavo tubes are good though. Yeah, I certainly think like the pavo tubes are among the better tubes out there. I mean, they're pricey, but they are very, very good. Yeah. So this is a single, so 6 kilos. So this is everything encased in it. I don't think that that's too heavy for a 600 with no ballast or anything like that. That's the whole thing. I think weight to power ratio, that's not too bad. But it's not light. No, yeah. What are the chances you demoing them at the photography show? I don't know. I'm guessing low. You have to remember that these are kind of coming in at the cinema level. If you guys. This is because what I was getting confused at here. You see how Profoto have kind of separated their site out here. So we have stills and cinema. These 600s are definitely a hybrid light. I do think that we will see stills shooters using them 100%. But they're in the cinema line, so I don't think we're going to see them at many photography shows. You may do, depending on how they do, but these lights in the last year or so have been demoed at film shows, right? So cinema, TV and cinema expos is where they're being shown at the moment. So again, like very privileged to be, as a still shooter, to be involved in this for sure, but these are going to be primarily going to be used on film and TV sets, I should think. Although these smaller heads will absolutely be hybrid lights. I mean, this thing is not tenable to be carrying around, but I don't know how much that is. It's like 12 kilos or something like that. It's monstrous. But so they are keeping the brand, should we say, separate at the moment, right? Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at this spot small. So I thought they were winding me up on the day because I was having to talk through the set. So I used this modifier on the day on Friday, and they were like, "No, it's called a spot small." I was like, "Is it not called a small spot? Are we sure?" Like, no, it's called a spot small. So I was like, if they're winding me up, I'm just gonna look like a right idiot. But it is actually called a spot small. Okay, fine. I will keep you posted. The images themselves were going to be part of articles and that sort of thing. So I will be writing the articles, retouching the images, and well, like there's like, you know, they're definitely keen to get them back. So as soon as all that's out, I think they have like a whole section on their website where people break down images and that sort of stuff. So maybe it'll go on there. But yeah, so there's going to be at least 3 articles on these, going over the lighting setups and what I used and how it was broken down. Plus there'll be videos and stuff as well on this as well. So, you know, as soon as I know more, I will let you know, but I'm sure it's going to be imminently, you know, by the end of this year, I reckon. So yeah, as soon as I have more to share, I will certainly let you know, and looking forward to getting my own L600C for sure. Yeah.